In this video, I'm going to share my Amazon ads results for 2024 so far and share anything that I've learned along the way. So in 2024, I've spent thousands on Amazon ads. But has it had any effects on my book sales? Have they worked for me? And have I taken any learnings for the year? Let's take a look. So first, being completely transparent on here, I want to share with you my income for 2024 so far on Amazon KDP. And so you can see here, I've made almost $24,000 up until the end of October in 2024. The hope is over the next couple of months, I might see a little bit of a spike as well with things like Christmas coming up. So that will hopefully go up to around $30,000 for the year. But just looking at 2024 so far, it's $24,000 from 139 titles on Amazon KDP. Now, some of them include things like my fiction writing, which unfortunately doesn't really sell very well. Some of them are notebooks when I was just getting going, which don't sell at all. So I would say that's from about 100 titles. So that shows that you don't need to make thousands of books to make an income on Amazon KDP. And from those 139 books, I run Amazon ads on most of them. And we're going to go into my ad spend now. So this is a quick snapshot across my USA and my UK marketplace. I also run some ads in Canada and Australia as well, but these are my two main marketplaces where I spend most of my money on ads. And so you can see here in the US, I spent $3,365, and in the UK, I spent £2,206. And just from the snapshots there, you can see I've had a large amount of clicks and orders, and the ACOS is something that you need to pay attention to. The ACOS is the advertising cost of sale, and that's how you know whether your ads are profitable or not. And so for me, a profitable ACOS is somewhere between 20 to 25%. So in the UK, my ACOS tends to either be break even or directly profitable, which is amazing. And in the US, it's slightly above that 25%. But I don't mind that because there's benefits of running ads above those kind of direct sales. And so let's break this down. So starting with the UK, I spent £2,206. I got almost 2 million impressions. So for that £2,200, I had almost 2 million people seeing my books. I generated 10,357 clicks. I received 1,379 orders at an average cost per click of 21 pence. That means that for every sale I made using Amazon ads, it cost me around £1.60. And so as long as I'm making more than £1.60 for every book I sell, I'm making a direct profit. Now switching to the US marketplace, I spent $3,365, got over 2.2 million impressions, received 11,213 clicks, sold 1,233 books at a cost per click of around 30 cents. So in the US marketplace, it's a little bit more competitive for my books. And so that meant that for every book that I sold, it cost me around $2.73. So my average royalty per book sale might be around $2.20, $2.30, something around that area. So I'm not making a direct profit all the time on the US marketplace, but that's absolutely fine because there are multiple benefits to running Amazon ads. Now, I know you might be wondering, what about Canada? What about Australia? So I'm going to put all of my ad results from 2024 so far into this next slide. So total spend across all of my ads for 2024 was around $6,746. I put the asterisks on there because I've used the Google conversions to get an estimated number. I received over 4.6 million impressions, received 24,517 clicks, and received 2,900 orders through Amazon ads. That's almost 3,000 books that I've sold through ads alone in 2024. But what I thought might be quite interesting to kind of start generating those learnings is taking a deep dive into the results. And so my average cost per click across all marketplaces was 27 cents. My average click-through rate was a little above 0.5%. And across all of the platforms, it took me an average of 8.45 clicks to get an order. So that's really useful. So say if I'm bidding $1 per click, I know that on average it's going to cost me $8.45 to get a sale. So that helps me just take a little step back and think about what the bid should be for my ads. And then my average cost per sale across all marketplaces is $2.32. So hopefully this gives you something to compare to. These are my real results from Amazon ads for 2024. And results drastically compare on so many things like the quality of your book, the book cover, the niche it's in, what type of ads you're running, what marketplaces you're running ads in. So don't be disheartened if you're not getting quite as many orders. But, if you're doing better than me, feel free to be a bit happy about it. Next, I thought it might be quite a nice idea to look at my top performing campaigns and then maybe some of my lesser performing campaigns. So coming on to some of my top performing ads. This is a product ad in the UK. It's for a sports word search book. And as you can see from the cost per click there, I don't think it was quite as a competitive niche, so I could get those cheaper cost per clicks. But looking here, for £68 in spend, I receive 444 clicks and 94 orders. And what I can do is compare that to the average results on my ads and see that this is performing much better than the average. So the ACOS on this is 11.2%, which is absolutely fantastic. And every sale I made using this ad made me money. So as you can see from that graph there, this was just an ongoing ad that I've been running throughout the whole of the year. Next, coming on to a lottery ad focusing on sponsored products. By lottery ad for this one, I mean that it's got multiple products in there. So this has over 10 puzzle books for adults, and I was targeting those sort of similar products. This has been running all year as well. And you can see from the results, I've increased the spend a little bit throughout the year. And when I was doing that, the orders were going up as well. It's tapered off a little bit because I've reduced spend on it over the last few months, but it's still performing really well. So the ACOS for this lottery ad was a tiny 8.43% across the year. That is amazingly profitable for me. So for $124 in spend, I've got $1,471 in sales off these books. Now, not all of that is royalties that I'm going to take home. That's why that ACOS is important. But this was a very profitable ad for me and it continues to be so. The next campaign that's performed really well for me is one in Canada. And this is a keywords ad. And so again, it's a puzzle book for adults, but it's just focusing on a single puzzle book. And again, this has been running all year. And I've actually highlighted that brownie green ACOS line just so you can see it was a little bit higher in January and February until I started tweaking it, removing some keywords that weren't performing as well. And that shows the importance of, tweaking and testing and learning. But I've got it to a very good point now where this ad is performing very well for me. And so over the year, it's running at an 11.76% ACOS, which again is very profitable. And it's received 72 orders from $128 in spend. So those are 3 quick examples of Amazon ad campaigns that are performing really well. They're all ongoing ads that I keep going because they're directly profitable, but some ads, they might not work quite that well for you. And that might be because of a ton of reasons. It might be because the niche is too saturated. It might be the cover's not strong enough. There are many reasons why your ads might not perform quite as well as these. And I've got a few of those that I'm going to share with you now. So here's a keyword ad, for example, that I set up for the launch of a colouring book in the UK. And so for its lifetime, I invested £53 into the ads, but I only got 9 orders at an ACOS of 89%. So even though the cost per click wasn't that high at 33 pence, the book was quite low priced and I wasn't getting enough sales on this ad to keep it running. So I launched it in August. And then you can see there in September and October, I dialed back the spend on it and it's not been serving very much. And so that will happen with some of your ads. This book was actually in a too heavily saturated niche that I thought I could break into, but the cost of the book versus the cost of ads, it just didn't quite work for me. I also think looking at this one, the book cover wasn't quite strong enough either. And again, another example of a keyword ad that's not quite worked as well for me that I would have hoped, and it's for an adult mandala colouring book. And so straight away you might be thinking, wow, Craig, that is a highly saturated niche. And you're absolutely right. And I think that's why this keyword ad ended up running a whopping 287% ACOS. It wasn't different or unique enough to what was already out there. It was in a heavily saturated niche. And to be honest with you, this book wasn't good enough to break through. And so I spent $60 on the launch of this book, only received 3 orders, and that was enough for me to know that, something's not quite right with this book. And that's one thing that I love about Amazon ads as well. It's a great platform to see if your book is going to succeed in the long term. What I found so far is if you tend to get those orders relatively easily at the beginning of your campaigns, it tends to continue going that way. At least that's what I've found with some of my best-selling books so far. So yeah, I have a few launches like this, which, are a very unprofitable ACOS, and I generally end up turning them off or tweaking them or running different types of ad campaigns to them. One thing that you could look at is, reworking the cover, adding more designs, or just kind of writing this book off and trying to make something better in the future. Now, I want to just share with you some learnings that I've taken from the year as a whole. The first one is about using ads to launch a book. And so you saw there an example of what a bit of a failed launch looked like, where it was at almost 300% ACOS. But that was a poor performing book, whereas I've got other books that I've launched successfully. And what I've found so far is if you launch a book and run ads, it helps it rank organically for search terms and also in the also boughts underneath the book. So if you're getting sales through ads, generally what I found that happens is you get more organic sales as well. And that brings me on to the importance of testing. And so if you give yourself a budget of say $50 or $100, however much you want to invest into the launch of a book or an ad, you should be testing and learning and improving your ad as it goes. And that's what I tend to do with most of my ads. I'll launch them and then after a few weeks I'll tweak them, and what I tend to see is that certain keywords or products will perform well, other ones won't. And so all you do on those is either turn the bids down on those ones or turn them off, or you can even look at adding new keywords and products. And so I like to try and evolve my ads on an ongoing basis, and that tends to help them perform really well over time. The third learning is making sure that you're using ACOS correctly. So as you might have seen on some of the other screenshots, it does have sales on there. So say if you spend $100 and you've got $500 in sales, you might think, great, that's amazing, I'm making more than I'm spending. But that sales number is not your royalties. It's the complete value of sales for all of your books. And so you need to know the ACOS to know how much money you're actually bringing in through that ad. So to share a really basic example, let's say your book is listed for $10 and you make a $2 royalty on that book. Your ACOS is going to be 20% because you basically make 20% of that $10 for every sale. And so you know that if you want your ad to be profitable, it needs to run at a 20% ACOS or less. But as mentioned, there are multiple benefits to running ads. It doesn't always have to be directly profitable because you can get additional effects like increased organic sales, for example. But yeah, you do need to kind of know how profitable your ads are, how much it's costing you to sell a book or how much you're earning per book sale, because then you can tweak your ads effectively and review performance as well. The next learning is keywords versus product ads. So I found that keyword ads are fantastic during the launch of your book because they can help you rank for those search terms. Whereas product ads, I found that a lot of my really profitable ongoing campaigns are using product targeting. And so whilst I like to utilize both of these types of targeting, they each have their own purpose. Keywords is the direct search term and ranking there, whereas product targeting appears beneath another product. So why I love products is you don't have to be ranking for a certain keyword, but if there's a new book that's out that's selling really well, you can then appear under that product. So it's worth trialing both of these and see which one works for you best. For me, I like to use both of them in different scenarios. And my fifth and final learning is utilizing auto ads. So I have some auto ads that are directly profitable, but what I love about auto ads is the learnings that you can take from them. So let's say you've made a unicorn colouring book for kids and you've created an auto ad. What the auto ad's going to do is it's going to find close matches, loose matches, substitution, complements, and it's going to give you a load of data. And so it's a fantastic way to test and learn what's actually going to work well for you over the long term with your ads. And so the auto ads can help generate ideas for keywords and products, and then you can create your manual campaigns that target the ones that have worked well on your auto ads. And that's how I've used auto ads effectively in 2024. So I hope that you found this video useful and it will help you with your Amazon ad campaigns as we move into 2025. I think that Amazon ads are incredibly important when it comes to increasing your sales on Amazon KDP. But I also want to hear from you, and it'd be great to know if you've got any tips, if you've found anything that works really well for you, make sure to share those down in the comments below. That's it for this one. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.